This week, we are looking at the number one reason that companies get breached and how to avoid it.
At M2 Technology, we're on a mission to make IT accessible to everyone. Join us on our journey to demystify the ever-evolving world of business technology. Are you ready to get unplugged?
Welcome back to IT Unplugged. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mike.
And today, we're going to talk about spamming and phishing and really raising awareness and what you can do to not fall for these scams. So, Mike, I'm sure you've seen some crazy stuff working in IT as long as you have when it comes to scams and, phishing attempts. Just kind of curious, what's one of the main things that you can do to not fall for, let's just say, a phishing email?
Sure. So if you email, let's take a step back for a second. If you email me, right, it just says Brandon. And that's normally as far as you take that. You're just like, sounds good. Brandon's emailing me. All right, what did he email me about? Oh, he's asking this question. Okay, cool. And then you delete it because I don't want to talk to you. But if
wonderful.
If you spoofed
we'll cut that.
All
right.
If you spoofed that, it could say it's coming from Brandon. But the actual sender, when you click on your little name that says Brandon,
sure,
up in the header is maybe it's jimbob@gmail.com or it's Craig at C.H. Robinson, or whatever, and that's clearly not Brandon.
Okay.
It's someone spoofing a different address to look like it's coming from Brandon.
So what's spoofing though? Like some people might not have heard that term. What does that actually mean? And how would I spoof you now that maybe I want to get back for that comment?
Sure.
And send something.
Spoofing in this sense is just kind of a smoke and mirrors, saying that something's being sent from somebody that it's not.
Okay.
Or somewhere that it's not. Someone or somewhere.
Okay. So all right, that makes sense. If we can just break it down a little bit when it comes to that technique to see who it's coming from, I've heard people kind of just say like the hover technique. Is that accurate? Like, is that kind of what you do?
Yeah, that's easy, right?
Okay.
Yeah, depending on what system you're on, you can't really hover, right? If you're on your cell phone, depending on what mail application you use to view mail, it might be different or easier or harder.
Okay. Yeah. So that first thing is kind of seeing who it's coming from. Are there any other red flags when it comes to a phishing email that people should really be looking out for?
Sure. The obvious is just outrageous spelling or requests for gift cards randomly from your boss or something like that. Like the things you're kind of common with, less common but is becoming more common are links for tracking. Hey, UPS. Okay, well we have a lot of packages. Maybe we do have something showing up that is delayed.
Yeah.
Click here to make sure that you know where it is in its route, or click here to verify your address, right? And you're like, yeah, that must be that thing. That's that Amazon package that is coming. Okay, whatever. You should probably keep an eye out for that.
Okay.
More than just clicking and you're just blindly logging into something, or you're clicking and you're what is the link you're clicking? What is that thing?
Yeah.
If your organization has tagging, so if your organization has on the top of your email, there's like a little banner that says like, hey, this is coming from an outside source, or hey, this is kind of suspicious. It says it's coming from Brandon, who's in your organization, but the email address is not Brandon's email address. Like, maybe you should look into this.
Yeah. Okay. So don't ignore those things that are on the very top, when you're looking at your email or whatever else.
Yeah.
So, I know we deal with a lot of customers that get so many emails coming through that it can be tough to take a moment and pause to really, look at an email, because you're trying to be productive and you're trying to be efficient as you're kind of going through that. So, is it tough to get people in an organization to kind of, I guess, essentially work slower?
It can be, yeah. We like to lean on tools that kind of help us do that, like Office Protect or other 365 plugin tools that allow for like the tagging on top, like we just talked about, or otherwise maybe a notification system that it provides you or provides the MSP a notification. It blows us up when somebody logs in outside of a geographic region or at all for the first time. A case where that would be realistic is, you get a new phone, right? You log into your email. You want to see your email on the go. It lets us know, but then we in fact would either just follow up with you, or we'd be like, oh yeah, that's right. Like Brandon was just getting a new phone Like, okay, we don't care about this then. So
Sure.
we delete that prompt, but then we know,
Yeah.
right? So again, if you're hanging out at home on a Saturday night and we get a login attempt for a customer in Fond du Lac that says that they're logging in Mexico, right? Like maybe someone's on vacation, but I also just talked to this person on the phone this morning and they were in Fond du Lac, so probably not on vacation.
Yeah.
That's kind of some more peace of mind. The external tagging, though, is probably the biggest benefit there.
Sure.
Maybe if you're trying to go, all out, maybe you tie that in with multi-factor authentication also. So then even if somebody does attempt to log in as you in Mexico or in Ukraine, then they won't be able to successfully log in as you because you sitting at your couch at home wouldn't accept the prompt to allow them to log in.
Yeah. Hopefully you're not going to accept that prompt, right?
Yeah.
So, best case scenario. But with that being said, I mean, there's these tools that we can put into place, but phishing has gotten more and more complex over time, right? I mean, I remember way back in the day, I don't want to date myself, Yahoo email or something, or God forbid a Hotmail, that would come in and, it'd say, I'm a prince over here and I need money or something like that. And then it evolved and, maybe it was, hey, I'm your grandson, I need some money here. I'm like trapped on vacation and, targeting different people. But I mean, they're getting more and more advanced and, what's one of the things, what's one of the most interesting phishing, I guess I kind of want to know, what's one of the most interesting phishing schemes that you've seen out there?
So first of all, that sounds like it'd be an awesome vacation where you're having so much fun that you need to email your grandma to get a few $1,000s. Like, I want to be on that vacation.
That's the most epic vacation ever.
Amex kicks you off. Yeah. Like you can't even use PayPal. You got to email your grandma.
I've tapped out every option, and now the only way we can continue this rager is hit up grandma.
That'd be great. Rope her in and invite me next time.
Would your grandma send you? What do you think? No. Okay.
No.
I don't know. My grandma might.
I'd be left for dead.
Yeah.
just me and my Delta plane ride home.
Okay, wait. Where were we?
Creative spam.
Yeah, creative spam. What's
the gift cards are extremely common. That's not very creative though. I think my favorite of the creativeness is the UPS or USPS FedEx tracking links because they take a lot of times they'll take real emails, real to someone at some point, but just change the link or just change the clickable image. So that, like it's like a button that says click here to track or whatever, right? They change just where that link goes. That's pretty creative.
Yeah.
I mean, you went through the effort of a decent amount of effort to recreate a real email that still is the real email, but it's just a different link coming from not the correct source.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that'll get you because there's no glaring weaknesses to that one, really.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's funny the timing. I was kind of telling you before. I started a new job, and I was on a Zoom call, and our CEO was on the call, and in the middle of the Zoom call, I get a text supposedly from our CEO that says, "Hey, are you busy?" I'm like, well, I'm on a Zoom call with you, so
not at all.
I'm like, it's my first day, and I'm like, is this a test? I don't know what's going on here. And then immediately after it was, hey, we want to pick up some. I have something that I need you to do. We want to pick up some Target gift cards to give to the employees or something like that. And I'm like, ooh, that's kind of funny because you're right here, But after that, every day for like the next 2 weeks, I got a text from a new number asking me the same exact thing. So it can be relentless, but once you recognize some of those patterns, it's easy to say, oh yeah, this is the normal scam. But there's a lot of people out there who are hit for the first time, and they're not so lucky, or maybe they're not used to that. They're not tech savvy, and those are the people that sometimes can.
Or we're really small. It's not going to happen to us.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. How many times have you heard that?
Like a dozen times this month.
A dozen times this month. Yeah, right? Yeah. And the truth of the matter is small businesses are actually attacked more than large businesses because they know that the defenses are, so much lower.
Yep.
So, I mean, I kind of think of this, it's like trying to think, like, if I saw a ginormous mountain, okay, and on the other side of it was $1 million, but then I saw it down by my feet was $10,000. Like, am I going to climb that giant mountain for $1 million, like, that I probably can't, or am I just going to take the quick $10,000 there? Like, that's what cyber criminals are looking at when it comes to who should I attack, right? I'm going to take this easy money, and a lot of times that's small businesses that aren't protected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That low-hanging fruit adds up.
Yeah.
Right. You know, you send out 10,000 feeler junk emails of Amazon tracking links, right? And 3% of them get clicked. Well, that's a pretty good potential payout, or that's a pretty good payout for very minimal effort.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody somewhere is sending out spam emails in bulk.
Yeah, yeah.
That's about the extent of the effort that's required, right?
And they wouldn't do it if it didn't work. That's
Yep.
what it comes down to. So, I mean, nobody's going to keep on sending that stuff. If it didn't work, and it is, and people are keep on getting caught. So, with that being said, there's some other ways that kind of scams have been going around. I know that building a login site that looks almost identical to like a genuine login site has become kind of popular. Can you kind of just walk us through what that kind of looks like?
Most common would probably be for 365, so like Microsoft Exchange Online. Perhaps it even is the correct current login screen, or the correct current looking website. You'll put in your credentials and then it doesn't work, and they're the correct credentials because you just changed it, or you have a ridiculous password policy that's pushed out from your domain, and you hate it because you change it every month. But then the second time around it does work, but because it's redirected you back to the correct login, right? So now bad person X has your credentials, so likely they will quickly go log in as you. Maybe change your password, maybe not. Maybe they're just going to put like a forwarder in place. So, hey, any mail that comes into this inbox, any mail that comes into Brandon's inbox that says bank in the subject, or bank in the body, or other hit words, or it's like common phrases,
Sure.
Forward to someone outside, or put in this folder. And then since they have access to your online inbox, then they can just monitor that folder and then run with that. So maybe you work in like wire transfers a lot.
Sure.
Receiving or sending. Maybe you'd want to put a forwarder for wire. So then anything that comes in, hey, you have a new pending wire. You don't see that because it gets forwarded somewhere else. So then the bad person can see that and do with it what they would like.
Yeah.
So maybe that's trying to change a routing number, and they're going to try to redirect some funds, or maybe it's deleted entirely, or take over the deal, or whatever.
Yeah. It's so crazy to kind of think of that, because the thing that also stood out to me when you were talking about that is they're just going to monitor it.
Yep.
Okay, so there's been news stories that you kind of seen, and the breach can happen months and months prior, and there's no understanding that there was a breach, and then 5 months later is when they actually strike when it comes to getting money or something like that. So is there anything like what causes that to be so undetected for so long?
A successful login attempt without multi-factor, right? Or let's say that somebody did in the event that you have multi-factor in place, all the correct things are in place, but someone approves it, then perhaps that could still happen. But then if you have something like Office Protect, then there would be a login attempt or a successful login recorded and reported for not their normal location. So if somebody's in the UK that's logging in, or that's where they're using a VPN that says that they're from, there would be a successful login attempt if approved, or a login attempt from the UK, and then that would blow up your MSP saying, Brandon's trying to log in the UK. So then I would reach out to you, and I'm like, Brandon, you're in downtown Appleton right now. Like, what are you logging in from the UK for? What is this? Then we would be alerted and either respond to it to prevent it, or just play cleanup, or whatever the next steps are.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Lots of different things that kind of to look out for. I love the fact that as you're describing it, there's kind of like a breadcrumb trail. And if you're correct in doing what you're supposed to be doing, protecting a business, there's not just one red flag that goes off. There's usually multiple things, and it's kind of putting the pieces together. Is that kind of correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, with that being said, is there, I know we talked about passwords previously, and just talking here about like maybe those fake email addresses and stuff like that, fake websites you put in your email. How important then, like, does it have to be to not have the same password for every single login? Because once they get it once, I mean, we're talking about getting into some company data. I don't know about anybody else out there, but does anybody have the same password for, multiple different things?
Yeah, that's very common. Would advise against it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, right, if your password is password 123 with an exclamation at the end for every single service and your Netflix, maybe not the best idea.
Yeah. Netflix might, like, shut you down, though, right? Like, you can't, somebody could steal it, and they'll probably be like, no, you can't have this, because they're so stringent on the
depends how many family
sharing,
members you have sharing your account with you.
Sharing users. I haven't watched Netflix, and I hope this isn't incriminating. Like,
bare
3 months
minimum,
now. I mean,
let's at least have a better password, right?
Yeah. Okay, so, we have all these schemes, all these phishing. Like, what are some things that businesses can really do then? Let's kind of wrap this up. What are the top things that businesses can do to protect themselves from these phishing schemes?
Employee vigilance at a bare minimum. Taking one step up from there, implementing proper MFA. Perhaps that's Duo or some type of other monitoring type service. Definitely an Office Protect situation there, where you're having something or someone that's keeping an eye on login attempts, successful or not successful, and rule creations and automatic forwards and anything that happens on the backside of 365, so that you don't have to be constantly inspecting that yourself. That'll set you up for success.
Awesome. So there you have it. There's some things that companies can be doing to help prevent the number one thing that's causing breaches right now, which is phishing emails or any of those scams. So that being said, make sure that you implement these things. Do not get caught in the next phishing kind of scam that's out there. And thanks so much for watching us on IT Unplugged.